Hello and welcome to Ice Cream Uploads, here today for you on the 28th, which is a Tuesday of January 2020. This is The Scoop, the home of your video game news during the week on the UK's #1 video game podcast.
Pretty good title, that, isn't it?
It is an amazing title. I mean, we've acclaimed so many awards so far.
Exactly.
It's only right that we put it in the title, isn't it?
Precisely. We need another trophy case, talking of which. The current one's full, so yeah.
Well, yeah, this is the UK's #1 video game podcast, and we come live to you every single weekday at 10 a.m. over on the Ice Cream Uploads Twitch, which you can find at twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. I can see that the chat is already starting to pop already, so I'll come to you in a second. But are you okay?
I'm alright, cheers, thanks. Yeah, doing alright. How about you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate.
Good.
We've just been talking about what you've been playing at the moment. Do you care to? Because I'm sure there's more fans out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I'm most certainly not one of them.
So, absolutely. Well, it's a bit old-fashioned, to be honest, but I've been playing Command & Conquer again. So I'm a big Command & Conquer fan, and for those of you who like their strategy games, I'm sure they would have played Red Alert 2, which is pretty much the best Command & Conquer game, in my opinion, but in a lot of other people's opinions as well. So I've been playing this online and offline, like skirmishes and stuff, via this patch that allows you to play it in nice 1920 by 1080? That's the official resolution, right?
Yeah.
HD or whatever. Yeah, and I've just been enjoying it. It's proper quick. Like strategy games, they have like a reputation of being like slow burners all the time, Age of Empires. But this is just like if you misclick something and you let it kind of happen for a few seconds, then that can be the difference between literally winning and losing the game. But yeah, I've just been enjoying that at the moment, personally.
The reason I asked you that is because obviously I haven't seen a Command & Conquer game being brought out in what feels like the last 10 years. I don't know if there has been one.
No, there hasn't. Well, there's been a mobile game that and it isn't like a good mobile game either. It's one that the fans are not happy with. Yeah. Well, I say that. I'm going off what other people have said. I've not actually downloaded it. But, yeah, so they're going to remaster the originals this coming year, and that's like a massive deal for Command & Conquer nerds like me. So that's what I'll be getting.
Awesome. I was interested to hear about when you was talking about it off air, because I haven't heard of a Command & Conquer for so long, and the fact that you said that you've been able to download patches to bring it into the current gen. That kind of makes me...
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the graphics themselves still aren't like HD, but at least you can sort of play them in like proper resolution stuff now for modern displays. And yeah, I'm just hoping that like the new remasters that are coming out will spur EA to sort of make more stuff. But yeah,
good man.
We'll see.
Good. Anyway, again, I've seen the chat has started to pick up, but just to remind you that this is a podcast that goes live every single weekday at 10 a.m. You can find this on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads at 10 a.m. Then about an hour later, you'll be able to see, when the show's finished, you'll be able to see this on YouTube around about an hour after we've concluded this one live on Twitch. And then later on in the afternoon, you'll be able to pick this up on any of our 4 major podcast services, which are, Luke?
Well, they are SoundCloud and Spotify, iTunes and Google Play.
Perfect. So yes, this will go live around about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, usually in time for your commute. Your commute home. But you're here for the news, so let's start to look into what we've got. Ads is saying that he's got a question for me first, so I'm very interested to see what the question is. But while he's actually asking the question, we shall go into the first news article, which is... Boom. So the reason, one of the reasons why I wanted to ask you about old school games, mate, is because this very first news article is about a console that, up until the next 2 months, is going to cease repairs.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Can you guess what console it is?
I'd have to feign not knowing.
Can anybody else guess what that is? Because we're going to get into the news story right now. Game. Boom. Oh, Pip, move. There we go.
Hey.
So Nintendo will stop repairing its original Wii consoles in Japan this March. Wow. Was this like made in 2006, this console?
That sounds about right.
Yeah, because I'm sure I was in year 11 in school.
Yeah.
When it first came out. But anyway, we'll get into... Oh, wait, 1 minute. Ad says he's got a question. We will see more live streams of the modded Master League. I really enjoyed watching. Yes, you will. When they're going to be, I am not too sure. I'm currently working on trying to get something a bit more... a schedule sorted so that it's consistent rather than me just tweeting out 10 minutes before I decide to go live. So I'm going to try and work around my current home life, obviously with my wife, and my work life and everything else in between, as well as playing golf, because golf is just amazing. So yes, I will be doing more modded Master Leagues, but we have got more things in the works when it regards to things like Master League. I can't say too much yet, but we have got something in the pipeline for something that's more than just modded Master League. But hopefully within the next month you'll be able to see that. Not only have we got invitationals going out where we invite the community in to come and play games with us, we may have some more things coming as well, but again, the only way that you can find out is by coming and subscribing, and not by subscribing on YouTube, obviously, but you don't have to give us any money over here. We're not asking you, we're not baiting you for any money. We just want you to follow us, that's it. We want you to stalk us on every single social platform.
But also give us your money.
Yeah, also give us your money as well. Because then we get to keeping a job. The lights and mics get kept on, you know what I mean? Just give me all your money. Like, whatever you don't need, I'll have, no problems. You could also make a YouTube series, it says. Maybe. But I mean, again, you make a YouTube series, it requires a lot of work, which
True.
I'm allergic to. So
we've noticed.
yeah. So yeah, maybe sometime in the future we'll be able to do stuff like that. But we have got something in the pipeline, so do stay in touch with us, because we'll be able to give you that as soon as we know it, really. Yeah. But anyway, into the first news story of the day. Nintendo will stop repairing its original Wii consoles in Japan this March. It's the end of an era! Nintendo has announced it will no longer be servicing the original model of its Wii console in Japan after March 31st. This relates to the RVL001 model of the Wii in all its colour variations. So, now, for the RVL101 model launched in 2011 and the Wii Mini RVL201 model launched in 2017 are both safe. According to the company, finding the right parts to perform the repairs now, the 13-year-old piece of hardware has become more difficult. Nintendo even warns that if you do send your Wii prior to the March 31st deadline, it still may not be able to perform repairs if the necessary parts are no longer in stock. After over a decade with the console, it's perhaps no surprise that things will be winding down on Nintendo's end. Last summer, we reported that the company would be releasing its final title for the Wii, Ubisoft's Just Dance 2020.
Wow, they're still making Wii games. That's amazing.
Well, I imagine it's like one game a year, which is Just Dance, because it probably just caters for a very small...
Yeah, well, I remember the singing ones as well. I can't remember the
SingStar
game, SingStar, or maybe one of the others, because there's a few. We do one on Koch, but yeah, that's been coming out onto Wii until at least recently. I think they've changed to Switch now, because I suppose technically you can do all that motion control stuff on the Switch, can't you?
You can do SingStar on the Switch as well, which I find weird, because you use the what do you call it?
Do you mean the Wii? What are you talking about? The Wii or the Switch? The Wii remote.
The Switch.
The Switch.
Joy-Con.
Joy-Con. Yeah, I was thinking nunchuck.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say, but that's obviously not what it was. The Joy-Con. Apparently you sing into the Joy-Con, but it's got no microphone, so Christ knows how that works.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Probably just some. I don't know how that works either. No.
But yeah, apparently you can do it into a Joy-Con, you can play it. I still play my Wii. You know, funnily enough, I still play my Wii quite a lot, because I've got the one that I can play GameCube games on, and I may or may not have made it so that it's region free, so I can play Japanese PES games. Don't hold me to that. But yeah, I do still play on my Wii quite a lot. Not mainly for the Wii games, more for the GameCube games. However, I've got all the Resident Evil games that ever came out, obviously. Yeah. Like the Dark Side Chronicles and the Umbrella Chronicles, like the ones that you point to the screen and shoot them. What are they called? Light gun shooters.
Oh, right,
the light gun shooter games. I've got a couple of them ones as well. But yeah, I absolutely loved my Wii. I've still got it. I still play on it, mainly for the GameCube. But it's very strange that nearly 14 years later, it's only just ceasing. I mean, the PlayStation 2 had a hell of a run as well.
Yeah, absolutely, it did, to be fair. I mean, that was still receiving PES games, for instance, when the PS4 was out, wasn't it?
The last one was 2014. The last two games that ever came out on the PlayStation 2 was FIFA 14 and PES 2014, which both now actually go for quite a chunk of money on eBay.
I can imagine. I can imagine them being collector's items. I really like the Wii personally, and I think it kind of got a bit of a bad rep in some ways, despite its success. So I'm sure, you know, but I mean, among sort of hardcore gamers, obviously, it got a bit of a bad rep sometimes. But the games themselves are actually really good. Like it had loads of really good games, like Mario Galaxy and stuff. Amazing.
Oh yeah.
And,
so did Sunshine? No, Sunshine didn't. Was it Sunshine
was
that came
GameCube.
GameCube.
There was like another Metroid Prime game, although it was probably the weakest of the three. GameCube probably had better games, but Wii still was good. And like Wii Sports, I mean, you know, people diss it, but it was amazing.
Absolutely. All of it. Ding ding ding. The best way to play Resident Evil 4 was on the on the Wii for me, because you got to use the motion control. So you'd have the nunchuck in one hand, the remote, the Wii remote in the other hand. And if you wanted to use your knife, you'd press the back button and you'd swipe and you'd be able to do that, and then you'd hold it up against the screen and you'd fire. It was the best way to play the game for me.
Yeah, like it was really good for shooters. I thought the whole pointing mechanic, I mean, it was really accurate. Okay, sometimes it was a little bit too sensitive or whatever, but yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the fact that they still managed to bring out a newer version of the console in 2017.
Yeah,
I think that was that must have been the Mini, the very small one that had like no internet connection. You couldn't put any peripherals on it. It was literally just the
really
unit itself.
I didn't even know that existed. I have to be honest, but yeah.
Let's see if we can find a picture of it. I mean, in fact, I'm going to Google this model number.
I do see it says actually Wii Mini RVL 201 model. I just didn't know about that.
Yeah, there were. I want to say there was Mini, there was tiny, but it literally had no internet connection. There was nothing to it. There you go. So let me make this full screen just so everybody else knows what it looks like. The Wii Mini is the one on the right hand side, which is here. Let me drop it down slightly.
It's not like that much smaller, really, is it?
No. So that's the Wii Mini, and that was the original one. I've obviously got one of them ones because the flap comes up where you can put your GameCube controllers and your memory card. But this one, you couldn't. It had no USB ports. It had just something that you could put at the back to put your sensor bar on. It had no Ethernet connections. You can't connect to the internet on it. It literally just is the most budget of budget consoles that you could ever witness.
Just so that they could sell them to put in old people's homes and schools and whatever they went.
That wouldn't surprise me if that was the case. It was literally just for things like schools, blah blah blah. In fact, my Dave says I still play with my Wii, but I don't think I was on. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. I need to start reading the chat before I actually read them out, because yesterday I got done. So I'm trying not for that to happen again.
Well, I remember when like the Wii first got announced, and obviously just like the name was just hilarious to everyone. It's funny that we can say Nintendo Wii in any context and not laugh anymore. Yeah. Like that's an achievement in itself.
Nintendo Wii. What was the first Zelda game that came out with it?
There was Twilight Princess, yeah, but that was like GameCube and Wii simultaneously, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah. Because it had motion controls with it as well, wasn't it? And it was class. There you go. What's this one?
That's maybe it looks a bit. Unless that was Skyward Sword, that came out in the Wii U. No, the Wii as well.
Oh my God, we take your privacy seriously, right? Okay, yeah, you can have my privacy, Jesus. Yeah, it is Skyward Sword. I can see it in the background here.
Yeah, that's one of the few modern Zelda games that I'd never played.
No, to be fair, I'd absolutely love to go back, because I didn't play this one. So I would absolutely love to be able to go back and play something like this, because you can see on the right hand side there, I mean, clearly these was made for a particular audience. I highly doubt it was going to be made for the hardcore audience of Zelda games, with the way that you can use your motion controls and stuff like that. I don't know whether or not it was compatible to be able to play with your GameCube control, because I know a lot of the Wii games did support the GameCube control. Things like Smash obviously will always support GameCube controls. So it would have been interesting to see whether or not that is the case. It's just a little chart. My mouse just seems to stop working.
That's quite interesting, actually.
Main home console titles, millions of sold. So Twilight Princess is the best selling, in front of Ocarina of Time slightly, by 9 points. Then Legend of Zelda in 1986. Link to the Past in 91.
You see, obviously that doesn't
Wind Waker 2002.
That doesn't include Breath of the Wild.
No, I imagine this is an old article. Yeah, 2014 this was written.
I reckon that's got to be the best-selling Zelda game, actually. Breath of the Wild, maybe.
Was that the first console that... Because obviously at some point there would have been consoles down the line where it would have been a bundle deal. Do you reckon this Nintendo Switch is probably the first Zelda title that was a launch title to be bundled with the console? Because I don't ever remember
I'm not sure. Yeah, good point. It might be. I think Twilight Princess must have been close because it did. I'm sure it came out as launch, but whether it was a bundle or not, around launch at least, like near launch. But
yeah, because I remember being in school and one of my mates ended up getting a Wii just to be able to play Zelda, but I don't think it was
necessarily a bundle.
Yeah, I think he would have. I'm fairly certain this would have came out like holiday season, but then he was getting it for Christmas, and then it would have had the console with Zelda. I don't remember whether or not it was a bundle.
No.
As Ad says, Skyward Sword. Next Gen Renegade says, I really need a Wii. Was Wii only. Fatman Dave. The thing is, I know he's saying that he really needs a Wii to try and bait me, which I have just said, but as a collector himself, it wouldn't surprise me that he hasn't got one, and that he actually wants one. Because believe me, if you haven't got a Wii and you play games, you absolutely need to go and get one. You can pick one up for like £10 from CEX or Cash Converters or whatever the fuck they're called these days.
Just don't expect it to be repaired.
Yeah, just don't expect it to be repaired, because believe me, when you want to play these type of I didn't have a GameCube. I always went to my mates and played on theirs. So being able to go back through the back catalogue of games that I never got round to playing myself as a single player experience, being able to go back through them, like I completed Resident Evil 3 on this channel not long ago because I never played the GameCube version of that game. So I thought, fuck it, I'll go through it again. So I played through the entirety the first time. The graphics were so much better than the PlayStation 1 version, obviously.
Yeah.
So go back and playing them games again was absolutely amazing. So if you don't have one, I'm not going to tell you that you can unlock them because that's for you to decide. But there is websites out there that will point you in the right direction of being able to do stuff like that. But the possibility, it's a perfect emulation machine, put it that way. If you are interested in playing all the old kind of games like GameCube, you can play PlayStation 1 games on not very well, but you have got the possibility to be able to do that. You can play Spectrum games, you can play Game Boy games, you can play a Game Boy Advance game. Basically anything up until the PlayStation 1, obviously the GameCube because it's emulated natively in the device. But as an emulation machine, you can pretty much play absolutely everything that you want to play on it. So if you haven't got one, I suggest that you go and get one. I actually want one. Believe me, for the price that you can get them for, it's 100% worth it. And especially the games are dirt cheap. If you actually wanted to go and buy a physical Wii game, your local CEX and second-hand game shop is rammed with them, and they're like 50p. They're like the price of PS2 games nowadays.
Yeah, I suppose.
It's definitely worth picking one up.
Yeah, GameCube and Wii together as well. Like that catalogue of games is amazing.
Absolutely.
Have you played? Have you tried Metroid Prime? That's really good.
I have not. I know it's one of the most regarded, best regarded games.
I'm not even like much of a first-person shooter fan, and that's like one of my favourite games ever. So definitely worth recommending. Check that out. I
think I do think I've got it, but I don't think I've played it.
Right. Yeah.
I'm sure I've got it on my console. Is there like? I 100% know that I have never played the campaign on that. But is there like separate missions on there as well? So like,
the original Metroid Prime, I think, is pretty much, it's very linear and very much just you start the game and it's just like a campaign and that's it, as far as I remember. But there were others that maybe had multiplayer and other elements to them. Because there's been 3 in the main, there's been a trilogy, like a main trilogy, and then there's one on the DS as well.
Because one sec, I'm just opening up the menu because I'm fairly certain that I have booted it up and I've played not the campaign, but I'm sure there was like side missions or something like that they can just jump into, like time attack or wave or hard mode or something like that.
It might be Metroid Prime 2 or something like that.
Because I'm fairly certain I've played it recently, but I just couldn't be arsed getting into the story of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll figure it out. But I definitely know I've never played the campaign of it, but I'm fairly certain I've played some part of it.
Some bits of it. Yeah.
I need to go and turn that off because it's getting really sweaty in here. So if you can pad for 2 seconds while I go and do that, that'll be fantastic.
I'll tease everyone with what the next story could be once I figure it out myself. Oh, okay. We've moved on to the world of streamers and and mixer and big figures of money. That's my teaser.
That's some expert padding there, Luke. Oh god, that feels so much better. I mean, it's absolutely Baltic in it. When I was driving from Manchester this morning, it was snowing and my car was completely frozen.
Yeah.
So I came in this morning, the studio was freezing, upstairs was freezing, so I put the heater on in here and now I'm red hot. Right, so...
Oh, he's guessed correctly.
Expertly teased. Let's get into the next one. Do you want to read this one?
Ah, yeah. Have you given me a big one? No, it's not too bad. This is from gamesindustry.biz.
Have I give you a big one?
Oui. And it is by Rebekah Valentine. So, Ninja was reportedly paid between $20 million and $30 million for Mixer exclusivity deal. Other top streamers above certain viewership thresholds may have been offered as much as $10 million. So last year, top streamer Tyler Ninja Blevins, is that actually how I pronounce it? Blevins?
I believe so.
Departed his streaming home on Twitch for an exclusivity deal with Microsoft's Mixer, and he reportedly got a considerable payout to make the switch. In a CNN report, Ada, a talent management agency that works with Blevins, CEO Justin Warden said that Mixer had offered Blevins between $20 million and $30 million for an exclusivity deal spanning several years. Both Microsoft and Ninja's agency, Loaded, declined to confirm the specifics of the deal. Though his Mixer audience is considerably smaller, Blevins went from 14 million Twitch followers to 2.8 million on Mixer. Oh, God, a mere 2.8 million.
Considerably smaller.
The payout from Microsoft may have been worth the audience loss. In 2018, Blevins earned close to $10 million as a Twitch streamer. But Blevins isn't the only major streamer who took an exclusivity deal last year. Both Warden and talent agency Evolved CEO Ryan Morrison offered CNN an estimate of as much as $10 million, and that could be offered to streamers with 10,000 concurrent viewers. Oh, where's this sentence going to end? Or more on Twitch. Smaller streamers might be offered as much as $1 million. Still pretty good, to be fair. Across the board, there were a number of high-profile streamers who either recommitted to Twitch an exclusivity deal last year or who spread themselves out onto other platforms, including Mixer, Facebook and YouTube Gaming. For example, Mixer picked up Michael Shroud... Sorry, who's that? Do you know who that is?
You don't know who Shroud is?
I know who Shroud is, but I don't know his last name.
Oh, it's
Grzek. YouTube Gaming got Jack Courage Dunlop, and Facebook Gaming took on Jeremy Disgusted Toast. Wang. Nice. Speaking to CNN, multiple former Twitch employees indicated that the payouts were the main reason to many major streamers. Sorry, I've messed it up. Multiple former Twitch employees indicated that the payouts were the main reason so many major streamers were suddenly departing Twitch in recent months. But several streamers offered a different argument, citing uneven enforcement of platform policies, such as those dictating that a streamer can and cannot be wearing, and a lack of tools to deal with trolls and harassment. There we go. That is it.
Perfecto.
That is the article.
So, what is your opinion then of people moving? I mean, for me, you got to secure the bag. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's gone from what's he gone for? 14 mil to 2.8 million.
Yeah.
Okay, so that 14 million doesn't necessarily mean that he had 14 million people watching his streams at any given time.
No.
I think around 50 to 60,000 people was watching his stream at any given time. So the fact that he's still managed to get 2.8 million who I don't watch Ninja at all, really. I don't think I was subscribed to him when he was following. There's so many different words for different platforms. Why don't they just have one universal thing? Anyway, I didn't follow him when he was on Twitch, but I just see him the featured channels, and it'll always be his down there. The fact that he still managed to build up 2.8 million on Mixer is fantastic. He's managing to do his job full time. He's managing to do this full time and get paid for it. So his ambition would have been to become a full-time streamer and be self-supporting. If someone wants to come in and says, we'll support you by still doing the exact same thing, he's not necessarily selling out, in my eyes, because somebody else is literally just saying, here's a load of money, carry on doing what you're doing, but do you want to come over here and do it?
Yeah.
Like, if I was Twitch, I would have been 100% saying, look, I mean, I have absolutely no hesitation in saying that Twitch would have been in fact, here's a counter offer, we'll be able to help you out with that. And he's just decided that he wants to change. Fair enough, but between 20 and 30 mil to still be able to do what he's doing now, including having things like Adidas come over and give him sponsorship, including things like Red Bull, he's still getting a sponsorship for. The amount of opportunities that is basically opened up for himself by being a personality, it's for him to decide where he wants to play, and if he wants to secure the bag, he's gone and done it.
Yeah, definitely. It is interesting as well when you think about it from a business point of view, from Microsoft's standpoint. Like, if they're willing to pay 20 to 30 million for Ninja, that means they're getting at least that back just from people going to Mixer.
Yeah.
Which is a huge amount of money, actually. I can almost imagine, like, going forward, like, we're not far off this becoming almost like football standards of, like, money going around eventually. Like, maybe these big streamers, I mean, if they're getting paid 20, 30 million, obviously he's like the biggest example at the moment, presumably. But that might happen more often, and I don't know, it's just like so much money. Maybe there'll be an argument to say, in general, like, all these streamers are getting paid too much. Like, maybe down the line we'll be saying that in the same way as we talk about footballers.
Yeah.
But then the counter argument is always, well, that's the industry, that's how business works.
I'm just reading through this last one of the last lines in the paragraph again, which I'll highlight in here for everybody else can see it. In 2018, Blevins earned close to 10 million as a Twitch streamer. Now, that doesn't say whether or not it was 10 million up to 2018 or just throughout the whole of 2018 he managed to earn 10 mil. But the fact that he was getting between 20 and 30 million to move over to a new platform, to basically grow an organic fan base again, because people will have to go over to Mixer, watch him, to follow him. So if he was been streaming on Twitch since 2013, his followers would have been organic to a point, and then other people would have just been going over to follow him. So again, he would never have been streaming to 14 million people at any given time.
No, I mean, he probably isn't going to be streaming to 2.8 million at any given time.
Exactly.
Still,
but with it being so close, it was less than a year ago that he moved. He would have had to have 2.8 million people within the last 8 or 9 months go over and then press that like button, rather than there's only one streaming platform. I don't know who Ninja is, but I'm going to go and follow them anyway. Same with Twitter. Obviously, he's had a long-standing account. He's now got up to a certain number, and I don't think that's done organically, because he's in the newspaper now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's not many esports stars in the world that are in the newspaper.
No, it's true.
He's a household name at this point.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of people, certainly regardless of platform, that will just follow him because he's a big name. And it's like, if you go on Twitch or Mixer now, just to get the ball rolling, just get your first few followings in, you just pick the big names, don't you? It's expected of me to pick Ninja, and it'll be the same with Mixer to a point. But I do agree that obviously you'll probably be getting a better percentage of followers to viewers on Mixer. Absolutely.
Well, again, it's a lot more organic. He's made the big announcement. Mixer have paid the difference between him potentially losing views over on Twitch compared to what he's obviously getting now, and he's more than happy to sit there and his 9 to 5 being streaming, because he would have done that on either platform. So the fact that he's still getting paid an absolute ton to still do exactly what he's doing, then fair enough, you secured the bag. BK Connor says it makes sense in so many ways. No more pressure to create for money, no more pressure to play certain games for views, no pressure to play through sickness or miss other opportunities. I fully agree. It's like another company coming along and offering someone the same job for 10 million more a year. Well, I'd just like to say I'm going to switch my allegiance to Jelly Media from Ice Cream Uploads. I hope that they will continue to pay my wage.
Absolutely, yeah. You've got us there.
Ice Cream Uploads, Mr. Graham Day says the biggest gamble, in my opinion, was the potential for his brand to grow stalling, but he's been active enough for off streams to keep that going. PAs like Adidas and Fortnite icons, etc. Again, I fully agree. Ads Play says my opinion is I'm glad he left. Twitch is inconsistent on bans, and now he's set a precedent. If you hate Twitch rules, you can see them stream anywhere else. What Mixer have done is basically kind of like what, using the analogy that it's kind of like what City have done. Mixer are the new club that have come in, and they have started to throw the money about to try and get the best to come over. They're showing them that we can do everything that they're doing, but we think that we can do it better. Here's some more money to be able to do it. Now, I don't agree with that. I still think that Twitch is by far the best platform to be able to Twitch. And I'm not just saying that because we're a Twitch partner. If I want to be able to go and watch something live, there's only one place I'm going. I follow Shroud, or I think he is the only account that I follow over on Mixer, and I never watch Shroud anymore. If I want to watch content, it's over here. It's the best UI. It's the best streaming experience that I've had, and I've streamed on YouTube back in the day. There's no better place than over here, and that they're not coming in and swooping ice cream uploads up to start giving us $10 million. You know what I mean? I'm not being paid to say it. It's just my personal opinion, but if they think that's their livelihood, they're getting paid 10 million, fucking course you're going to go over there.
That's true. To be fair, like, I agree that, like, Twitch is a good platform, but I don't necessarily think that Mixer is any worse. In fact, there's certain things that Mixer does really well, like, I think it's probably better at showing multiple, you know, when people are playing together and it shows, like, the different windows together. I think that's quite cool. But I kind of agree with the sentiment that basically I just watch Twitch because it's like the thing that, like we were saying yesterday, it's just the thing that pops up on my computer when I start it up, and it's all there, and I don't even think about going to Mixer. Like, it could have worked the other way around, I think, and everything ended up, you know, if Mixer was the first one and I started following people on Mixer, then that would be the one that would pop up, and I would always watch a Mixer. I would never think about Twitch. Well,
the humans themselves are creatures of habit. We've done it for so long. Watching stuff on Mixer, the first thing, if I want to watch a video game documentary, the only place that I'm going is YouTube to watch, and that because I know full well it caters to every single need that I've got. Chances are, if I put something in the search bar that I'm looking for accurately, like how to mod PES 2 on the PS2, chances are someone's fucking done it.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? So we are creatures of habit in that sense, but again, you can't blame these people for wanting to try something else. There's players, football players, that have won absolutely everything with one club. Cristiano Ronaldo, for instance, won absolutely everything you could possibly win with Real Madrid. What's bigger than Real Madrid? Probably nothing at that time, but he went to Juve because he wanted to win something else. Do you know what I mean? He clearly wanted to be the face of Mixer. He was the face of Twitch, and Mixer are paying him the difference. Yeah,
it's definitely it's smaller pond, but definitely the biggest fish.
Absolutely. Ice Cream Loads says the deals he's got are arguable there as a result of the move is pretty tasty. Oh my god! See what I mean? Stop myself.
What does it say, baby? What does it say?
Something about some skins in Fortnite. Yes, the meme of him saying, "What did you say to me, you little shit?" That's iconic, man. But again, you can't blame him for wanting to go over there. He's paved that way himself. Like, obviously with the help of, do I want to say with the help of Fortnite? Fortnite obviously propelled him into it, but at the end of the day, it's his personality that people were going for.
Yeah, well, I guess so, yeah.
Let's not forget he was an esports star before he was a streamer.
Okay, well, yeah, that's true.
So he's got the best of both worlds. People knew him in the esports world because of how good he was at games. And then him being live in front of the camera like we are every single day. It gave the opportunity to see another side of him, not just a competition one, to see how good his personality was, what kind of guy is it. And to be perfectly honest, since he's gone over to Mixer, I feel like he's toned down the child. Oh my god, I'm trying to think of a way to put it that doesn't make me sound like a dickhead. Basically, he used to stream, and there was a lot of children. People like my brother when he was growing up. He used to watch him because his streams were catered towards the younger audience. However, I feel like since he's gone over to Mixer, his audiences have kind of matured. It's the same with the Doc. The Doc, I don't know what happened, but he never used to swear in his streams. If he did, it was once in a blue moon. However, now you go over there, and the guy does not stop. Like, whether or not he just switched his audience and he's like, right, my demographic is between 16 and 35 plus. Whereas I think Mixer, I think his Tyler's Jesus, I think Ninja's probably was 6 to 16, I'd say. Which I think is probably a fair assessment. I don't want to sound like I was being a douche about it. It was just never a streamer that I cared to watch. I have since watched him, but I don't necessarily go over to Mixer to watch him. But I feel like his content has matured quite a lot. He's not asked about what he plays and who he plays it with now. He's just more interested about making content. And as a streamer and a person who wants to be entertained,
How old is he now? How old is
I'm sure he's probably around the same age as me, maybe a little bit younger.
Because obviously there'll be an element of just like he's continuing to grow up himself. He's probably maturing and he.
Yeah, he's 28, right. So he's around the same age as me. He's a couple of months younger.
Really, but well, it must have been quite a while before Fortnite and everything. Certainly, he's been going a long time.
Well, there was a picture not long ago that got surfaced around Twitter. I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago, where he was at an esports event in Blackpool.
Right.
And this was going back like 5 or 6 years. So it would have been like fucking Play Expo in Blackpool and Ninja's there at this.
I never knew he was in Blackpool. That's weird.
Next Gen Renegade said, does he get the same numbers? I'm not sure, but his growth as a channel has gone from 14 mil to about 2.8 mil. So whether or not he gets the same consistent numbers of around 60k per stream over there, I'm not too sure.
I couldn't imagine he would, but...
Connor says, I think initially Fortnite helped everyone, then it got to a point where Ninja was helping them. Absolutely. Family friendly, that's the one I was looking for. It was a family friendly stream, man. I don't think that's a hot take. I do generally feel like that was the general consensus of the time. I do feel like what you just mentioned there, that he has grown up himself. He feels like he can be himself a bit more now. Yeah. He's not just playing a quote-unquote kiddie game of Fortnite. But as a result of this, he's managed to secure the bag. He is now the face of Mixer. He's got fucking brand deals alongside the likes of Noel Gallagher, King Noel Gallagher at Adidas. Do you know what I mean? There's not many people in the world that get Adidas exclusive, and that guy is one of them. So who's winning at the moment?
Well, yeah, exactly.
That was a nice little tasty conversation. Sorry, our chat's over here, so if it looks like I'm just staring into the distance, I kind of am, because that's how far away our chat screen is. But we do like to keep up with what's been going on there. Ad says, you saw that Mixer guy.
It's the Mixer guy, Mike.
Don't say it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I said it in my head. You see what I'm doing now? You're stopping me from reading the comments because you want me to slip up. And I know yesterday I did it, but from now on, I'm going to read the comments in my head first before I'm delivering it. So I apologise to all you audio listeners that hear long, pregnant pauses, but you've done it yourself. You've done it to yourselves. Congratulations. You played yourself. I think he still does family-friendly screens, but he has different overlays and titles as far as I know, so people and parents know. Smart. If he's going to be playing something like H1Z1, I expect him to be a completely different person than he's playing Fortnite, basically because of the difference in audience.
Yeah, exactly.
Which again is absolutely understandable. If he wants to stream what he wants, fucking let him. Do you know what I mean? Who are we to tell Ninja what to play?
No one's going to stop him, are
Right, okay, so this is one that I actually teased on Twitter earlier today because I was absolutely pissing myself when I seen it. You think that the world's going to shit. With cases like this, you would absolutely assume that the world is going to shit. This has been written on PC Gamer by Andy Chalk. Being muted in a game does not violate your civil rights, US federal court declares. Constitutional free speech guarantees restricted government actors, not private entities. Woo! Strap yourselves in, guys. Get yourself a brew, because we are going to be here for a while. Sometime during March and April 2019, Amro El Ansari found himself muted in an online game run by Jagex. Specifically, according to Pen Live, the MMO Runescape. His appeal of the muting was denied, and so he took it to the next natural, perfectly reasonable step and filed a DIY lawsuit, available via Vice, alleging that Jagex had engaged discrimination against him and violated his rights to free speech and due process. Woo! Woo! Jesus Christ. In a not exactly shocking development, the lawsuit was quickly dismissed. In a ruling posted to brian.carnell.com, District Judge Mark Kearney declared that his federal constitutional claims over being muted in a video game are implausible. Kearney's restraint and inaudible. He educates himself. Let me just mute this. I apologise if that was playing through the stream. Kearney's restraint is audible as he educates the plaintiff on the basics of constitutional law. The First Amendment and its constitutional free speech guarantees restricted government actors, not private entities. Defendants who are not alleged to be in state actors are not subjected from constitutional free speech guarantees. Kearney wrote, likewise, The Fifth Amendment due process clause applies and restricts only to federal government and not private persons, and not an act against a private company. That seems pretty straightforward to me. The First Amendment literally begins with the words, Congress shall make no law. But Isani quickly appealed anyway, and the non-shocking outcomes continued. Earlier this month, the US Court of Appeals for the Third Circuit shut him down again. Not literally. The first claim based on the 14th Amendment was invalid, the court ruled, because, again, the state action is a prerequisite for beginning the 14th Amendment claim, and Ansari has made no allegations indication that there any named defendant is a state actor. The second claim is even more interesting. The next citing Title 2 of the Civil Rights 1964, Asani maintains the district court should have considered a claim of public accommodations, discriminations, and Ansari's complaints. Ansari insisted that defendant Jaggett should be liable for unequal treatment because Ansari's account was muted compared to all other players who were not muted. The ruling available on Justice States. The Title 2, I mean, this goes on for obviously quite a while. I'm going to try and skip as much as I can, but you kind of get the point. The Penn Live report says that Ansari filed 10 lawsuits to the US Eastern District Court over the last year and a half, including 4 in July 2019, including the Jaggett suit. In 2019, a federal appeal court rejected his effort to bring a class action suit against Tinder, noting that he was ineligible to represent other plaintiffs because he is not a lawyer, and that the damages could reasonably seek were nowhere within the $75,000 minimum requirement. Oh, so when I said that the world was fucked, people are literally looking to try and get as much money out of situations
I know,
that...
it's horrible, isn't it? And it's, you know, apologies in advance to any of our American viewers, I know we have them, but it would be America in particular that this would happen, because it apart from the obvious that it's to do with their sort of constitutional sort of stuff, but it's that like culture of like suing and that as well, which does exist in other places, but it certainly exists the most there.
I mean, I've seen some shit in my time, and I genuinely, like, this is probably one of the worst things. I don't want to say the worst things that I've read because it was written badly. I just mean generally that people are getting to a point now where they're not getting their own way and trying to find ways to sue.
Yeah, exactly.
You're being muted in a fucking video game, you nerd. Do you know what I mean? Like, get over it. No one wants to listen to you rabbit on. Like, it doesn't say what he was saying. Was he being annoying? There's a reason there's a mute button in games. And it's basically because when you go into a Modern Warfare lobby, it's just people playing funky music down the microphone and screaming. And occasionally you'll hear a dog bark in the background. It's just annoying. But the fact that someone wants to go to a point where they feel like they're being victimised because they have been muted in a video game, that does not warrant you wasting people's time, basically, going to court because you feel like you're due damages.
Exactly. I mean, in a way as well, it's not even to do with the rights of free speech so much as it's rights of being heard, which don't exist. Like, you could kind of say, you know, I sort of talk in an empty room and then, like, complain to you upstairs that you didn't hear me or something. It's like kind of like logic, and then like somehow make it to a lawful thing, and it's ridiculous.
Well, at the bottom it says that within the last year and a half he's filed 10 lawsuits. What does that tell you about the man?
Yeah, exactly. He's desperate, if nothing else.
Yeah, absolutely, that's what it comes across as. It's been very, very... I've been muted in the chat. That's unfortunate. Start the compo face. Graham, see what I mean? You've capitalised it now. I had to stop, I had to pause, I had to read your comment. Basically, he's trying to get me to what I said to say yesterday.
It's helped you out this time by capitalising.
Yeah, I know, but you know, as soon as I see the capitalisation, I automatically would switch my brain off. But I mean, Ice Cream Uploads and Graham specifically, I know we're streaming. I mean, it does look weird when people come into the chat and they see us talking, and then Ice Cream Uploads starts talking, saying compo face. I mean, if you haven't seen compo faces before, go onto Twitter and type in compo face. There is various accounts that show some of the world's greatest compo faces. Wait, Bibby has a brain? Absolutely not. I mean, it's basically just porridge at this point. But yeah, I mean, I love the fact that this has been written because we can laugh at how stupid it is, especially in an MMO game. Like, there's a reason you're being muted. It's usually because someone's either being abusive, racist, a fucking annoying, or you're just a proper weirdo.
I know, exactly. Like,
No one mutes you for no reason.
Yeah, there's much more. It's much more to do with like people's right to not have to listen to sort of idiots. That should be a right, you know.
Yeah, that should have been written in the constitution,
Exactly,
shouldn't it?
yeah.
Thou shalt not listen to idiots. You will be muted on RuneScape. But I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if this bloke put us in his 11th.
Oh yeah.
His 11th thing against us here for saying that you deserve to be muted. You fucking nerd.
Exactly.
But anyway. That was a good story to. I like stories like that because I feel like sometimes the world can get on top of you and you think, can it get any fucking worse? And then someone does something so much worse and you think, do you know what? Well, life's actually not that bad. I'm doing all right for myself.
Precisely. At least you're not trying to sue for not being heard.
Right. We obviously streamed yesterday. Yes. We led with a story about something potentially coming out that I am super excited about. I'm not sure about your past with this particular franchise, but there has been an update to it. I 100% think this is probably something that I want you to cover, so I can just sit here with some kind of look on my face. I'm not sure whether or not I should be excited or I should be concerned. I'm not sure. If we get another Silent Hill Homecoming, just don't bother. I don't want that.
Sure. Well, we don't have those specifics yet, but we can say, or rather Metro says via, where's the writer?
It's GameCentral, mate. It's GameCentral. We don't understand who GameCentral is. Is it a person? Is it a group of people?
Just
I don't know why. Yeah.
Well,
it makes no sense.
If you are the actual author of this article, we would like to represent you. So make sure to tell us your name. But anyway, update: Konami confirms interest in new Silent Hill. So, in fact, there's like an update and original story here, so I'll read the update. Update: Konami has confirmed that it is considering making new Silent Hill games with a short but relatively unambiguous statement. And the statement is, we cannot share anything at this point, but we are listening to customer feedback and considering ways to provide the next title, said a spokesperson. This doesn't confirm anything more than they're thinking about it, but it's surprising they'd share even that, and may point towards an announcement in the near future. So I don't know whether it's worth me rereading the original story as well. I know it's not quite the story we read yesterday, but yes, Bibby looks pretty happy.
I feel like I'm doing the best Kurt Angle impression that I could probably do. This is fucking great news. I'm not even sugarcoating it. This, my friend, is great news. Why have they acknowledged it? If it wasn't true, if it wasn't in the works, why have they acknowledged it? I'm just going to throw that out there. Lazar the Greek says, quick lecture break, and you've come in at the right time, my friend. You've just missed my lecture. Now, bask in the fact that a new Silent Hill game is potentially in the works.
Yeah, I mean, they've basically confirmed that it's... Well, they confirmed that it's being considered, shall we say. So what we can basically say is a Silent Hill game at some point is going to be made, surely, unless it gets cancelled or whatever in the meantime. But that's pretty much what Konami is saying, isn't it?
We cannot share anything at this point, but we are listening to customer feedback and considering ways to provide the next title.
Yeah.
I don't know if they chose the words appropriately there, but that makes me think that you've got one on the way, baby! But yes, I'm super stoked about this. I'm very interested as to see the style that they're going to go with based on yesterday's story where they said that potentially 2 games are coming out. One, a Telltale / Until Dawn type of game, and then one which we hope is going to be in the direction of the previous games, either PT or any of the original 4. Yeah, would have been perfect. I do want to see. I mean, if you want me to give you a list of things that I want to see included in a Silent Hill game, oh baby, this is an episode in itself. But I want to see tank controls. I want to see rooms getting rusty to shit. I want to see fog in the background, basically to hide your shortcomings, because obviously that's what it was probably most famous for. I want to see them revolutionise this psychological horror video games. We've seen what Resident Evil can do, bringing back survival horror, Resident Evil 7 and Remake 2 recently. I want to see the other side of the coin. I want to see some psychedelic shit. I want to be sat there browning my white briefs as I go through certain doors, not knowing what's on the other side. We've seen zombie side of things. I want my mind to be fucked with.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like not enough games have taken advantage of like video games as a medium, in the sense that obviously you watch a film and that's like oh, someone noticed your t-shirt.
No, I've just switched to the side cam, so
you can see it there.
You can get it in all its glory.
Nice.
I'm going to use that as a thumbnail.
That's a very good t-shirt.
Thank you, mate.
But yeah, like obviously you can watch a film and films are pretty immersive, but this, like with a game, you can really feel like things are getting fucked up around you. Like games can like, obviously films still like are filmed in real life mainly, unless you're making a CGI film or whatever. But in a game, you can literally change anything in a blink of an eye constantly. You know what I mean? Like really mess.
You don't have to rely on the person acting, do you?
Yeah, you don't have to rely on reality in any form. You can really like change things at a whim. And
did you like the films? Did you watch them?
I've watched a little bit of one that I kind of caught the end of, sort of thing, and that's pretty much it. Although actually that might be the Resident Evil one, thinking about it.
I mean, one has Mila Djokovic in, the other has... I couldn't even tell you. But to be fair, they're both the Silent Hill films.
No, I'll say no.
Both the Silent Hill films were fantastic. The second one was way better than the first one. But believe it or not, it's one of Samantha's favourite films. She absolutely loves horror. She doesn't like playing it, she likes watching it, but only watch it if I'm there. But the second one was so much better than the first one, but the first one was still good. But like you said, they could do so much more with games, basically because you only need the voice actor. I mean, nowadays we've got actors doing mocap and things like that, which takes the games to the next level. Yeah. However, to program the character, it doesn't really rely on the person, being flexible or being able to act in a certain way.
Sure.
That's what we've got our voice actors for as well. Do you know what I mean? You just get the computer to program a certain situation. Like they would have never been able to do that weird situation. I'm sure it was Silent Hill 2. I'm going to get lambasted for this, but where Pyramid Head's got the nurses and the legs are going all over the gaff. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, they'll never be able to do that in real life. You'd have to get the computer to do that for you. But I'm stoked. This is probably I didn't want to go live with it first because I wanted to bring us back to happiness after reading shit. But this is probably the biggest news of the week for me personally, as a man that likes these kind of games. Yeah. If it wasn't in the works, they wouldn't have said anything. That's my mentality on this. They would have just ignored it. Yeah,
exactly. So it seems... It's pretty much a confirmation that something... It's not very specific at this stage, but it's pretty much a confirmation that Silent Hill is coming back in some form.
Lazar with the host as well, very much appreciate that. He says, new Silent Hill, hell yeah! Absolutely dead right. Fatman Dave said, oh, it's true. It's damn true. Obviously, that was my Kurt Angle post. We'll take that. Is that Jabba?
Get mixed up between Baby Yoda and Jabba.
I mean, surely that's a bannable offence.
Yeah.
And in most parts, that is bannable offence.
It's a good job we're so liberal as a channel.
Lazar says, how is your room feeling about the ICU triple threat?
I don't know whether to feign confidence at this point, or be honest. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Me and the lads are going to be practicing a lot. And the last Invitational, not to diss anyone who is in this one, we've got some very strong contenders, but last time it was basically PES League versus me and Jack. And, this year I feel like we at least got some potential to get some points. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I'm not going to go too much into detail about this because obviously, Lazar, you would have seen this. I hope your captain would have been able to pass over how the format's going to work this time. I will be writing a blog post up to go onto the Ice Cream Uploads website within the next 2 days. We've got 2 more teams going to be announced within the next 3 days. Depending on if I can get the information I need by Friday, we could potentially have an announcement every single day this week of who's going to be playing in the tournament. However, there will be, at least by Friday, a rundown of how the tournament's going to be run. So, if you haven't seen an Ice Cream Invitational before, this is the one to come and watch. It is going to be a Pro Evolution Soccer tournament. We're going to go live on Friday the 28th of February. It's going to be a massive community night. It used to be that we'd invite professional players to mix with community, but the professional players have got their own tournaments now. Do you know what I mean? They're getting paid to play in them, so we're going to only allow the community members to join this tournament. Invitations have been sent out to captains. They are rounding up their players as we speak, so hopefully we will be able to give you some more information on what's going to be coming sometime soon. At least by Friday, you're going to know at least 5 teams and how the tournament's going to be run. From our perspective, anyway.
Exciting stuff. Sounds
absolutely,
good.
I'm absolutely buzzing. Did you not see the baby jabber that was trending last week? No, I didn't.
You know what? Now that he's mentioned it, kind of just in the back of my mind makes a little bit of a bit like maybe I just scrolled past something.
No, I didn't see that.
Something. I basically didn't, but it kind of sounds a bit familiar. I'm going to have to Google this now. Baby jabber.
So Lazarus said it's my favourite community event. Honest to God, it's actually ours because we feel like as we have the facilities. You can all see the studio. You see how good it is. We are able to put on a show, and ultimately what we're doing now is we're putting on a show. We come live every single day, 10 a.m. to give you the scoop as a show. However, when it comes to community events, we like to take up the next level. This is basically just giving you the news so you don't have to go out there and find it yourself. We're just grinding the stuff out for you.
Exactly.
But when it comes to community events where we're inviting, I don't know, 35 people, 36 people to come to an event, play games with us, having them want to actively get involved with us, partner up. We've got sponsors like GT Omega and Nacom that want to get involved and give us prizes to be able to give to you guys. It's unreal the support that we've had either from the community and the people outside of our community that say, do you know what you're doing is absolutely awesome. Here's some stuff from our side to show our appreciation to you guys. It's as simple as that. I absolutely love it.
That's apparently Baby Jabber, by the way.
Oh my God. Have you seen Blade? Blade 1?
No, I've not seen.
Have you not seen
No.
Blade? God damn it.
I know.
There's a big monstrosity. I don't even know. Can I find it, Blade 1? I'll just type in Blade 1, fat fucker.
I mean,
Blade 1.
I know about the films, but I haven't really seen them.
Oh, it's amazing. I can't remember what it was called. It was just like this big beast. Oh my god. Get that off the screen.
What I didn't see.
Right, whatever you do, don't go onto Google and type in Blade 1 fat fucker. Please do not do that because some stuff comes up that you do not want to see. Okay, so we've got 2 more news stories. Graham just slacked me one. This one I included because Mrs. Bibby sent me this news story. It's one that I completely missed, and it's on the Lad Bible website that I never look at, if I'm being perfectly honest. I see stuff on my timeline because I follow them as an account, but I never go onto the website to look at news stories. But here we go. You can now play Mario Kart against your mates on the iPhone and Android. They've taken the sweet time.
Exactly, yeah. We were saying this before we went live, didn't we? But why was that not thinking at launch?
Absolutely.
Mario Kart.
I mean, we've talked about how clunky it is. So I actually downloaded this as we was going live. So I'm hoping to give it a go later on, see whether or not anything's changed. But it was just the driving and swerving and that. It was weird. Yeah. Anyway, Nintendo has finally added a multiplayer mode to its mobile game Mario Kart Tour, meaning that you can now race against your mates. The game itself is launched on iPhone and Android way back in September 2019, but the ability to play others was absent. But the people have spoken, and thankfully the massive games developer has brought out the new mode. It means that instead of playing the game against either computer-controlled characters or a timer, you can actually batter your mates. All you need to do is go onto the multiplayer feature to unlock at least 1 cup. Then you need to go to the menu and switch to multiplayer. It's as simple as that. The 10th game in the Mario Kart series, Mario Kart Tour, marked the first of its games not to be released on a Nintendo console. Jesus, it's that acid reflux thing again. I don't know why it does it. It invites you to play as a game. It invites you to play as and against characters from across the Mario world. They include the likes of Princess Peach, Bowser, Yoshi, and of course the main man Mario. The game largely follows the same theme as other Mario Kart games. Players drive around courses based on the theme of most of the other Mario games, the universe known as Mushroom Kingdom. You also get loads of different features, including power-ups that give you different advantage over the others in the race, including speed boosts and oil slicks. Nintendo says in its website, Mario Kart Tour is the first Mario Kart game on smart devices. I mean, just basically going into the game now. Multiplayer is still in testing, so you may experience a few bugs on its official release on the 28th of January. And if playing the game on mobile hasn't really whetted your appetite for Mario, you can get excited, because basically, in real life, Universal Orlando's highly anticipated Super Nintendo World is due to open in 2023, according to multiple reports. Have you seen what it looks like?
I didn't know about that. I'm
Mate,
excited.
it is amazing. I'm sure they've got one in Japan already, or it's under construction and going to be open soon. But this one looks dynamite as well. Executive of Comcast, which owns NBC Universal, made a series of announcements during a Q&A part of their earnings call last week. Super Nintendo World had a long-rumoured and as a land coming to Epic Universe, which was announced during Universal back in August 2019. But for now, information starting to trickle through, including the scheduled launch date. Execs announced at the earnings call the fourth park, based on the characters of Nintendo, is set to open in 2023. If you haven't seen Super Nintendo World yet, Google it, because it looks fan-dabbit-dozy. It's definitely somewhere I want to go back and see this. But I really want to go to Galaxy's Edge as well.
I know, I was just thinking the same, like, those two things together would be like my perfect, so that'd be the most Luke sort of thing ever. Star Wars and Nintendo.
But yeah, I have downloaded this. I'm gonna put myself on it. It's not new news because we talked about it on here before. I really did not like this game on mobile. I think like the driving itself is so clunky.
Yeah, exactly.
It just doesn't work. There's 1,000,001 driving games on the smartphones that actually work properly with the way that the cars move and go around corners. How they've chosen the worst way to drive your car on this is beyond me.
I completely agree. I don't get why they went that direction. It's almost like they overthought it. They overthought how to simplify it, if that makes sense. But actually ended up making it more stupid in the process, and it's actually just like tapping left or right on the screen to make it move left and right. It doesn't really do that. It just seems like gets the basics wrong.
So I've already downloaded this, so I'll give it a go and see where we're up to. Give you a report back tomorrow to see how well it actually plays and if I can actually play multiplayer against other people. So yeah, that's all there is on that for now. I just wanted to let you know that we are keeping up to date with you, Mario. We are keeping up to date with the Mario Kart franchise. If Nintendo do want to sponsor us at some point to play this game, then feel free to at me, and I will be happy to abide as long as you give me free shit.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm shallow enough to sell my ass for a free T-shirt.
I mean, he's sponsored by the Mandalorian.
Oh yeah,
and he's got that on.
Yep.
You know, so available now on Disney Plus, but not in this country.
Fatman Day. Fatman Day says, "Don't just book it with Thomas Cook." Okay.
Yeah,
that's the sole subject for Graham.
Well, Graham's pointed out ahead.
Oh yeah. Oh, I didn't even see that above. I was supposed to be going to Galaxy's Edge in summer. Cheers, Thomas Cook. Graham's crying. I mean, have you even got your money back for that yet? Have you managed to rebook anything else? I know you haven't mentioned it. Lazar says, "Bye. I've got to go back. No worries, mate. Thank you very much for your host. And I'll see you soon." Dan lad, morning. I just got a notification from you saying that you followed me this morning. Did you unfollow me? Like, I don't want to hold grudges or anything, but you're about 30 seconds away from being timed out for good. Ads play says GG. But yeah, I mean, I really want to go to Galaxy's Edge, and this is just putting the cherry on the icing on top of the gateau.
Nice.
I see what I did there. I mean, it's just all my favourite things.
Like it.
Right, so we've been live for over an hour, so we've got one more news story for you guys. I'll have
to do a lean over.
You have to do a lean. Okay, 1 minute.
Eurogamer by Matt Wales. Apex Legends seemingly just killed off brand new hero Forge before he even got here. Oh right. So we talked about this guy was it literally earlier this week?
It was late last week, yeah, because I said he looks like John Cena.
Yeah, exactly. And you know,
he sang the age theme.
It was only last week, that Respawn Entertainment unveiled the latest character to be added in Apex Legends playable roster. Pro brawler Jimmy Forge McCormick, and now the developer appears to have killed him off before he even got here. As Respawn initially pitched it, 5-time Hyper Fighting Federation champion Forge has to be the newest addition to Apex Legends hero lineup and was due to arrive as part of the game's 4th season on 4th of February. So all seemed in order when the developer released a new Stories from the Outlands trailer earlier today, ostensibly to reveal more about the Metal Arm newcomer. But in a wholly unexpected turn, the video ends up in claret-drenched disaster as our new pal Forge seemingly meets his end at the hands of a very familiar character. Forge's reveal, you see, rather took Apex Legends fans by surprise, given the steady accumulation of various leaks and official teasers swirling around another character, the Red Robot Revenant, who returns in today's video, even before Crypto's release last year. Revenant popped up again for Apex Legends' Halloween event, and again, very subtly, in the background of a recent official blog post, and it started to look like they were a dead cert for Season 4 when data miners found voice line references for the character in the game's code earlier this month. And then, of course, the Forge announcement happened. So what's really going on? We obviously don't know for sure until Respawn comes clean, but it's possible the Forge reveal was one big fake out from a developer peeved at leaks. Shortly after today's video drop, thanks PC Gamer, Respawn project lead Drew McCoy tweeted, "Leaks are the absolute worst. We spend insane amounts of time and energy to create cool surprises. Really sucks when someone wants internet points bad enough to ruin that." Whether Revenant will in fact be stepping in for Apex Legends' 4th season remains to be seen. For the time being, all we really have to go on is the fact that Forge's previously prominent placement on the official Season 4 teaser page has not been greyed out. RIP Jimmy Forge McCormick, it reads, never defeated except for that one time. That's interesting.
I think it's gone one of two ways here. I think they have, like is mentioned in the article, that the fact that people have data mined it and spoilt the fact that a new character's coming, that they've just gone, do you know what? You don't fucking deserve him. We're pulling him. Or he's been sued for looking like John Cena. They've even used his like 5-time World Heavy Fighting Federation champion for it. Do you know what I mean? He couldn't get any closer to this person, as it seems. I don't know.
Yeah,
they haven't come out and said the reason why they've not going to include him in Season 4 so far.
I don't know. It's I probably lean towards the fact that it was all planned, because I suppose like for them to do that trailer only days later would be quite a push, but not impossible, I suppose. You know, like in such a short space of time, like for them to be, oh right, we can't release this character after all, quick get a trailer. I suppose it's possible. But I like the idea that maybe they're just doing it to troll everyone.
Yeah, well, there is that as well. I'm not absolutely familiar with everything that Respawn has done, but I don't know whether or not they have the character, shall we say, to be able to do something like that where they want to troll everyone. Have they got the experience?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. It's kind of like doing an April Fool's joke, not an April Fool's, isn't it? And you would have thought, I suppose on the flip side, if they were going to like take the piss a bit, that they would do it with a more outlandish sort of character rather than something that felt kind of plausible. Yeah. But still, I don't know. I
mean, I absolutely adore the fact that they would be that petty. That the fact that you spoiled it for yourself, we're pulling this, you're not going to have it at all. I would love that to be the case, because it eventually it's going to come to a head. Like, again, ding ding ding, the fact that the Resident Evil thing got leaked and everything like that before it came out, and Capcom very cleverly hidden the announcement in a game that I knew was coming out. And then this kind of sideswiped us with the news of Resident Evil 3 and what it's going to look like, blah blah blah. Eventually companies are going to start doing this, I feel. If data miners want to go in to try and get internet points, I'll say, in trying to leak everything that these companies will be working round the clock in crunch, shall we say, to try and get the more enjoyable experience for the consumer to then hack into whatever it is, data mine it, pull it out, and then just go go into Reddit, look what's coming, just to try and get some internet points. I love the fact that they've been reactive enough to just go, you know what?
In principle, I like it as well, but I suppose the worry is that you can't like treat everyone as just like one sort of thing. So
again, I absolutely agree.
You get the data miners, or you know, how did I say it, data miners, who go in there and they'll think that all right, if this gets cancelled, it will still be worth it for me. I get the fame out of it. I get the recognition. I've leaked this, so I don't care if it gets cancelled. But all the poor sods that do care, who've not done anything wrong, it's cancelled on them. So there is that edge to it as well, unfortunately. So it's a difficult one.
Well, the thing is that because they've got everything sorted there, it can be a reusable asset. At some point, it may not come in Season 4, but they could ultimately put this into Season 5 and blindside someone. Blindside the community by popping it in whenever they need to. But I don't know how all of this stuff works anyway. Like, how is it data mined? This stuff would have... Surely all the assets and everything that would have been there would have been put into... I don't think these hackers, or data miners shall we say, are going into people's computers being able to get this information. How are they managing to source and data mine it? Like, is it stored somewhere on their server so someone can log in and hack in and be able to take out a big scrape? Or...
I know very little about it. Yeah, like when I hear this stuff happening, but I have no conception of of what happens exactly.
I'm very interested to see how it comes, because I'm not in any way, shape or form in a position to be able to say you should be doing this, but it feels weird that they have everything on like a test server, so we'll have a live server and a test server, that they would be hosting stuff in just the live server to be able to use it on the test server. Would you not keep everything behind locked doors on your test server internally and then wait for it to get leaked over to the other side? Because it feels like, how would you be able to data mine something that isn't live?
Well,
it's weird.
Like Connor says here, this is sort of my impression of it as well. It's usually in the source code when they put stuff in the game, as far as I know.
Yeah.
Most of it is publicly available if you know what you're looking for. So
that's what I mean. Like, why is it in the source code if it's meant to be a surprise? Because surely we've had enough instances of this happening where you think, do you know what, it's probably not worth putting live until it's ready to go live.
Yeah, well, exactly. There used to be more of it, I think, of games that would ship, say, you know, back especially when things were physical, more physical to a point, but there were still like these early DLC sort of environments, and all like the hidden characters or DLC or whatever would already be on the cartridge or the CD or whatever. But then it would just be unlocked because maybe that would be easier to do remotely, almost just like pressing a button. You don't actually have to download anything extra. I don't understand why that was the case particularly, though. Why you can't just ship the game where there's no evidence at all of it, and then they just download it in. I mean, we know that that's possible, right? Like,
well, you can put like a PS1 game into a PC and see all the assets that are on the disc. Like, it's very weird that was ever the case. Well, there's no other way of doing it. Back then, it was just everything come on a disc. There was no Ethernet port or anything to update your game as you went along. So obviously that makes sense that was the case. But it's weird nowadays. Connor says, I don't think it's a type in and hit enter type of thing. I think they'll have to get a code in and set it to live at certain times to make sure there are no bugs in the actual live game. I don't think there's a type and hit thing. They have to get a code in and set it to live at a certain time. Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, if they're setting it live at a certain time, I don't know. It's far too complex for me to even begin to understand how it is. Again, this is another reason why at some point I want to be able to sit down with the developer and just go through a process. The chances of them being able to sit down and being honest and open about what their processes are like are few and far between, because they'll want to keep the trade secrets to themselves. And the last thing they want is just to have some ginger fat bastard talking to them about how their game works and things like that. But the whole game developer cycle and how source codes and everything are implemented into the game, it fascinates me. I'd love to be able to understand more of it, because I want to know what I'm talking about rather than making assumptions, and that for me would probably be the easiest way to be able to get it across.
Yeah, exactly. I'm in the same boat. I'm just guessing. I just don't particularly understand, like, unless I've got the wrong impression about how these like patches and downloads and updates and all that kind of stuff work when you download them from the internet nowadays. I assumed that you can put brand new information onto a game that isn't prior expected in the code of the game or whatever. You can just like latch that on and that's fine. But if there's actually some argument that there needs to be some evidence of it in the source game already, I don't know. I don't really understand it.
Yeah, it's weird that people can still data mine. It's again, I don't think I'll ever understand it until someone who has super experience in this is able to talk about it. I'll have to do some journalist stuff. I've never done it before in my life. I've never had to go out and find stuff like this before, but I feel like I probably owe it more so to myself to understand how things work, because I've got a lot of opinions on stuff that's based on hearsay or assumptions, or I'm putting 3 stories to try and make one, which doesn't make any sense because it's 3 completely separate parts of a entity that don't go in coincide with each other, but I'm forcing them together to see if it fits. So Connor say FIFA are the worst for it. They have their packs named and shit in their code. So days before a live event, people know gold PL player coming. See, I don't. It can't be that easy. FIFA could just be trolling us all here. They want people to start talking about it on Twitter. They're openly saying, do you know what, someone's actually going to come in here and have a look at these. So let's just get it out there and then let Twitter build up their own hype. I don't know, but surely reading stuff like that it happens all the time makes me think that it's not as clean cut.
Yeah, I mean, if it was easy to... It's either incompetence, which even from EA's point of view, you know, like, I struggle to believe that they're that incompetent, that they're just like, they don't understand it's happening or whatever. Or, there's more to it, it's a bit more complex. I don't know, it's probably a bit of both, to be honest. But
yeah, it's I don't even know what to say about it, because again, I'm so uneducated with how the whole thing works, that it would be stupid for me to be able to go and say, well, they should be doing this, blah 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 blah. I'm just kind of making assumptions as to how they may do it. If obviously they do it a completely different way, I'd love to learn and understand it. You're never too old to learn, especially being in this industry, because stuff comes at you thick and fast.
Exactly.
You need to adapt and react.
Changing all the time.
So yeah, I mean, it feels weird that FIFA are doing that. It feels like they know people are going to be data mining their stuff. Let's just get in front of it. Just show people what they're getting, and then they'll talk about it socially. People are going to know. They know that whether or not they're going to put 20 quid in this week, or they're going to leave it, rather than it being a surprise. But when it comes to stuff like this, again, making an absolute assumption, would you not shut your server off for a day or so and then inject the source code into it? I'm take it that they don't want the game down for 24 hours, which is why they try and do it live, and people could data mine it before they announce anything. It's, again, making massive assumptions. I would love to be educated on this, so if we do know any game developers that would be willing to sit down with me, that'll be absolutely amazing. But I will try and do some investigative work at some point, and then see what I can try and dig out. Is there anything else for the chat or you today that we would like to go through before Josie arrives in half an hour?
Very true. No, I don't think there's anything from me. Yeah, we managed to get like 6 stories out of that in the end, didn't we?
Yeah, we only went live with 4 and then ended up getting another 2 along the way, so perfect.
Pretty good.
Fatman Dave says, hope they don't do that with their kid when they try to find out what they're getting for Daddy. I saw had to... Right, okay, I just quickly skipped to the end of that sentence then, and I thought, oh, is he trying to play me again? Oh, okay, alright. So I'll read it now because it makes sense and it's clean, it's smut free. Hope they don't do that with their kid when they find out what they're getting for Crimbo Day. Daddy, I saw the puppy we're getting. Dad, oh, you had to go and spoil it, didn't you? But yeah, there was no need for that, was there? No, exactly. Anyway, that is it for today's show. This has been your show for Tuesday the 28th, I think.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yep. Is it 28th?
28th.
Yeah, Tuesday the 28th. We're 2 shows down. We've still got another 3 in the bag. Be sure to be here tomorrow live at 10 a.m. on twitch.tv/Scream Uploads. But don't worry about it. If you've not been here today to witness this live, you'll be able to catch this in YouTube in about an hour's time, and you'll be able to listen to it on podcast services around 2 or 3 o'clock. And for those of you that don't know what they are, Luke, what are they?
They are SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes and Google Play, baby.
Absolutely perfect. Again, if you do see anything around the video game hemisphere, then do feel free to tag myself. We've got Bibinio, Jeroen on Twitter, and Graham_Day on Twitter too. And don't forget, you're watching on Ice Cream Uploads, tag them as well. I'm sure we're picking it all up. We'll be able to include that in our show the very next day with your opinions, our opinions, and most importantly, we have a good fucking time, don't we?
Absolutely.
Quickly running through the chat, because it seems to be picking up. Beautiful sound effects, 11 out of 10. GG says Dan Lad Gaming.
I don't read that next time.
Ads Players says that someone called Mike stinks. Ice Cream Upload says was going to press Raid Phantom, but he's just gone offline. And BK Connor is trying to use the socials, but looks like chatbot's decided to die.
Yo.
But guys, We will be live again in half an hour's time as Josie runs through Death Stranding. I can't imagine she's got that much longer left on it, but she will be here in half an hour. But until then, guys, live 10 a.m. tomorrow. And don't forget,
stay frosty.
Woo!